question: where do you get the money? Everyone talks about how if they had $1 million, $500,000, $100,000, they would do X, Y, Z. But where does this money come from? Today, we're talking about how to fund your dreams. Yes, we all have dreams, we all have aspirations, we all have things that we would do if we had a pot of money. But the reality is, most people don't receive a pot of cash and told, go and build your dream business. So where do the rest of us go? What do people do? What are the viable options for raising money to actually fund your business? The very first source of funding your business, funding your dream, is you. Yes, your savings. There's a saying where you put your money where your mouth is. You have skin in the game. These all talk about you, the entrepreneur, investing your own hard-earned money into your business idea. And that's the reason why I don't believe in people starting businesses who have never actually worked. The first source of funding for your business should be you. You believe in the idea, and so you invest in it. Now, this is why I often advise people who want to start a business, especially young people, to work, earn some money, put that money aside, and then invest in your business. You'll be taken much more seriously if people see that you actually have skin in the game, if you're willing to put your money where your mouth is. Why should someone believe in your business idea if you don't believe in it? And the best way to show that you believe in your idea is to put your hard-earned money into the idea. So before you begin looking for investors or begin looking for other ways to get money, make sure that you are contributing money to the business idea. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to have, let's say you're looking for $20,000 to begin the business. It would be great if you could save $20,000, but that's not the ideal situation. That's often not the reality. So if you're able to save $5,000, if you're able to save $10,000, it is easier to ask people to support you and give you some additional money to help you get towards that goal amount. Which brings us to the second thing. Aside from your own savings, you can ask other people for money. Remember, we don't go to other people unless you have some money to contribute. People believe, respect, and are more willing to give money when they know that the business idea or the business founder and owner is willing to put in his own money. So before you approach someone asking them for money, you need to be clear on what your business is, how you're going to make money, and why you need their money. And the first people that you should approach is F&F, friends and family. Friends and family because they know you, they trust you, and they are more willing to support your idea. Oftentimes, they've heard you talk about it, they've seen your work ethic, and they really want to support you to get to your dream business. And so it is easier to approach them. They can also share valuable feedback, valuable insights, and they are often going to be your first customers or your beta testers, those who test your product or your business idea initially. So give them the opportunity, approach them, and you can ask them for money. Now, there are ways to ask for money. If you're going to ask someone for money, you should have a clear plan. You should be able to say to them how much you want, why you want that much, what the business is, how the business will generate money, and ultimately how you will pay them back. How will you pay them back? Because some people will give you that money for free, but for others, it will be a loan. So if it is going to be a loan, you should give them a realistic expectation of how and when they'll be paid back. For some people, they know that investing in a small business or a startup means they could lose their money. But for some, they haven't thought about that. So the best thing that I advise is you should be candid with people. Say to them, I'm asking for 5,000 to add to my 10,000 so that I can actually begin my business. I expect to be able to pay you back within a year. However, during this period, then you can give them some incentives. Either it can be that they will test the product for free, or you give them some sweetness, something that makes it worth them losing that. You could also offer them interest and say to them that I'm taking this $5,000 from you, but I'll pay you back within a year. During this year, I will pay the interest on a monthly basis, and by the end of the 1 year period, I'll pay you the principal. That shows commitment to pay. That shows that you've actually thought about the fact that you are denying them the use of their money, and that gives you a better chance of getting funding. Now, that's from friends and family, people who know you, people who trust you. What about investors? Everyone likes the sound of investors. You join an incubator, you join an accelerator program. There are lots of VCs and PEs out there looking for people that they want to support. That's what you read. But the reality is, this is not the early 2000s. The world is very different. People want to invest in ideas that have great potential and that can change the world. But at the same time, they want a return. So when you speak to an investor, know that your idea has to be one that can grow, that is scalable, that can give them a return on their money. They're not doing charity work. They're actually investing as a business strategy and they want to see a return. So instead of thinking of investors as a way to access free money, think of investors as people who are coming to partner with you to grow your business. That also means that when you're starting out, it's probably best not to have an investor. It's best to start with your own money such that you can grow the business, shape the idea, and then prove that there is a business opportunity, prove concept, prove that the business is one that can grow. And then you can try to raise money with investors. The process of raising money via investors is also very tedious. There's a lot of requirements. There are lots of things that they expect to see. They expect that you're keeping proper books. They expect to see growth numbers. There's a lot of expectation. So sometimes when you're in your early stages, that's not the best time. You need to focus on the business to grow the business. I tell people it is much better for you to start small and grow it systematically. Be able to make all the corrections, be able to fix all your gaps. And then when you show your business to an investor, because they need to understand all your numbers, they can say, you're growing. That way they'll be interested in putting in money. But if you just start out, you have an idea or you've begun the business, you're not keeping records properly, your customers are always frustrated, you basically are not showing that you're running a proper business. Why would anyone put money in your business? Now, there are lots of different types of investors. You can get investors who are interested in climate, who are interested in tech, who are interested in gender, who are even interested in small business. But the bottom line is the same. No one puts money into a business that is not growing or that doesn't have a future. So why not focus on growing a business or starting a business that has potential before you get someone in? Why not put everything that you need to put in place before you bring in other people's money? There's also free money or grants. A friend of mine calls people who are always seeking grants grantpreneurs because what happens is they are pursuing free money and their business changes with every single pitch competition, every single grant they apply for, every single proposal that they see. Today, they are focused on helping smallholder farmers get agri inputs. Tomorrow, they're using AI to give smallholder farmers weather information. Focus. Know your business. Have a plan. Don't just be moved by where there's money. You see so many of such people who don't actually have a business because their business is more reactionary. And if that's your goal, then you shouldn't be watching this podcast. And if that's your goal, then I can guarantee your business will not grow. Also, with grants, just like with investors, there's an expectation. Now, if someone gives you money, they're going to require you to provide reports. They're going to require you to be able to fulfill certain requirements. And if you take such money and you're not able to meet these requirements, it is not only bad for you, but bad for the industry. So my advice to everyone is, if you have a business, try to delay taking investor or grant money until you're ready. Grant money is not free money that's just supposed to be spent and used on paying yourself a salary. You actually need to let that money go into the business and to have an impact and to grow the business. So if your business is failing, don't apply for a grant. If your business is failing, figure out how to solve it. Then you can specifically say, if I get X amount of money, it can help to solve this problem. Free money, grant money, investor money is not the solution to a failing business. A business that actually works, a business that actually has customers that pay, is the solution to a failing business. So if your business is struggling or is failing, it's not about getting more money into the business. It's about finding what the problem is, fixing your offering, fixing your pricing, fixing the customer experience so that the business can actually run. Don't just go and take money and push it into the business. Finally, where not to get money. You're not going to get money from banks. Why? You are a startup. You just began the business. It's an idea. So why should a bank take money that they have gotten from depositors? People have put their money in there and they're expecting to be able to get some interest. Why should they give you that money if your business is not quite there? I find it strange when people say, oh, I applied to the bank for a loan and they didn't give me the loan. Is your business able to support paying back a loan? Is your business generating enough profit that it can pay a loan off? If not, then why are you going to the bank? Strict requirements, asking for collateral, or asking for audited accounts. Most banks are going to charge high interest rates. That's the business model. So if your business is not doing well, you can go to a bank. See banks just as you see investor money as money that is used to move you from one level to the next. It is supposed to accelerate, you're supposed to give you that boost. That's not what you use to save your business or to start your business. Dear African entrepreneurs, we need to stop crying saying capital is what we need to be able to grow our businesses. You don't need capital. You need good product, you need good service, you need to improve your customer experience, and you need to be able to show that customers want your product. If customers want your product, they are sometimes even willing to pay in advance for your product. And that is what you can use to fund your business. What we see today is a strong sense of entitlement. People expecting handouts, people expecting government grants, government support, people expecting other people to give them money. They don't owe you anything. No one needs to invest in your dream. It is your dream. Invest in your dream, put in the work, and you'll be able to attract capital. The key word is attract. Attract because they see what you're doing well, they see the potential, and they see that you, the entrepreneur, is committed. So, not the answer you were expecting, but the reality nevertheless. Dear African entrepreneur, raising money, getting money to fund your dreams is not about looking externally. It's about looking at your savings. It's about looking at friends and family. And most importantly, it's about making sure you have a business that can actually generate money for you to grow a business. What are your comments? What are your thoughts? Share your experiences in the comments. This is the reality of being an entrepreneur in Africa. We need to stop deceiving ourselves and get to work. So the next time when someone asks you for money for their business, send this video to them. Have they saved and invested in their own business? Have they asked their friends and family, is their business viable? Is their business worth investing in? And are there clear terms before you part with any money? We know too many stories of people who've taken money from us saying that they're going to begin a business and that money just goes into their lifestyle. Let's do the right thing. Let's make sure that we are funding our businesses the right way and we're growing an ecosystem of people who trust entrepreneurs and are able to lend to entrepreneurs to grow their businesses. Thank you.